Welcome back to Grammar Rules for Writing. For the next few videos, we'll be talking about different types of pronouns. And we'll start with the personal pronouns here. The personal pronouns are the words that you see in the chart. These are your common pronouns we use every day. And there's nothing strange about those. We just have them arranged into different categories. So let's learn some words related to pronouns. The headings that you see here at the top are known as different cases of pronouns. Different cases means different situational forms that we use depending on what the situation requires and what the grammar of that particular sentence requires. And the idea seems very easy, something like the difference between he versus him. We would never say him went to the bank. We would say he went to the bank. Or that I kicked him. You wouldn't say I kicked he, right? We wouldn't make those kinds of simple mistakes, but we do make a lot of other mistakes when there are more words added, like between you and I. Between you and I is always wrong because between you and I is in the nominative case, but what you mean to say is the objective case, me, and you're choosing between you, the objective case, and the me in the objective case because of the word between. So there are a lot of English speakers who say between you and I, and it's almost like becoming the majority of people. But this is out of ignorance. People, they think the you and I just sounds more formal, and that's why they say it. But if you understand grammar and know how to write things and speak things correctly, you would not make that kind of mistake. So the different cases here, the first one is your nominative case, or we might call it the subjective case, but the more formal word is nominative. This is when you use the word in the place of a subject of a sentence, like I went to the store, he did something, she did something. All right, so these are I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. And the who is also in the nominative case. And the difference between the who and whom is that whom is in the objective case. Objective case is the form that you use when you need the object of a sentence. Like, I lifted him. I don't know why I keep thinking of kicking and hitting. That's all I can think of. I kicked him. All right, that's a simple sentence that requires the objective case. Also, when you use a preposition, you need the object case of a pronoun. That's the reason why we use the him or you or me in the case of between you and me. The word between is a preposition, just like to or from or of. And you would never say of I or to I. And same thing with the between. You got to say between you and me and not I. So those are the two main cases. Then we have the possessive case. Possessive shows possession, my thing, your thing. Whereas the column over here shows you the possessives that are used as adjectives in function. So you would always use these words in front of a noun. It would have to be my car, your car, his car, so on. You need to have a noun after it. But the next column of these words, you would use them as pronouns by themselves without having another noun attached to it. So instead of saying my car, you would say that is mine, and you don't need to say the car. So that's the difference between those two forms. And then you have your reflexive pronouns, which is the myself, yourself. We just want to get used to the term so that in the future when we talk about, the rules regarding reflexive pronouns and when you use them and when you shouldn't use them, I'll use the term reflexive pronoun and you want to understand what that is. Now, there are some of these pronouns, the personal pronouns, that give us more trouble than others. One you might consider is that the you is written twice here. There's a you that appears here and the you that appears down here. And the reason is that the top portion here is all for singular forms and the bottom are for plural forms of the pronouns, whereas the first you is the singular you, and this second you is the plural form of the you. Whereas all the words, different forms of the you are identical, so it doesn't really make a difference, except for the reflexive. Yourself in the singular has self in it, but if you need a plural, that would be yourselves. So that's something to keep in mind. Another one that is prone to simple mistakes is the word themselves. Younger writers often write theirselves because there's a pattern to this whole chart, right? And the system. And younger minds develop the systems, and they learn the systems by themselves, and they see, well, my becomes myself, your becomes yourself, so their should become their selves. And it's very logical, and it probably should be that way, except that's not the rule. You don't have their selves, we have to say themselves. So watch for the spelling on that particular issue. Another thing to watch out for is the its form. The pronoun, the possessive, is its with no apostrophe. If you use an apostrophe, it apostrophe s, remember that this is it is, okay, where the letter I is taken out and the apostrophe takes place of that I. So when you read it's with the apostrophe, when you're reading it to yourself, you should say it is to yourself so that you don't forget. The apostrophe, it seems like you would want the apostrophe on the it's when you use this pronoun, because when we use a name like Bob, we always put Bob's apostrophe s to show the possessive, and so it's very tempting to use the apostrophe there, but you have to remember that that's not the case.